So the Oscars just ended, and there were quite a few surprises tonight. But to say that I'm walking away happy with the results would probably be a lie. Of course, everybody has their own opinions on what they think should have won. There were actually a couple surprises here that I really liked and really enjoyed, and it sort of won me back after feeling so much disappointment through the majority of the show. But I noticed something about halfway through, and that's that I feel like more popular movies were being rewarded this year than past years. And I don't know if this is a new trend. I'm not sure if I like it, but I can understand wanting to get viewership up at these shows. But yeah, there were two movies in particular that actually got the most wins all night long, and they made the most money out of most of the nominations all night. Now, early on in the show, I was feeling pretty good. I was looking at my ballot. I was 4 for 4. Bohemian Rhapsody won Best Sound Editing. That made me 4 for 5. I was like, oh, okay, whatever. I thought First Man would win. It would have been cool if A Quiet Place won. And obviously, Bohemian Rhapsody won Sound Mixing. But then things just took a turn. Bohemian Rhapsody just kept winning everything that it was nominated for. It won Best Editing, which I was actually been kind of scared about over the last week. And I thought that category was kind of bogus to begin with. Even though I thought Vice was going to win, I didn't think it had the best editing. And I definitely thought it was going to win, though. And then Bohemian Rhapsody won, so then it's 3 for 3. And then it definitely got that Best Actor nod with Rami Malek. And everybody expected that. So it's 4 for 4. So I kind of thought it might win Best Picture. But at the end of the night, Green Book won Best Picture. And I can't say I feel much better about it, but the way I look at it, at least Bohemian Rhapsody didn't win. I know the movie has a fan base and people love it, and good for them. The movie won 4 Oscars. It had the most Oscar wins all night. It had more Oscar wins than Roma. Roma only had 3. But another really big movie, the most domestically made movie of last year in America, Black Panther, also tied with Roma and Green Book for the most wins with 3. Black Panther got that costume design, production design, and score, and I thought it was only going to win one of those. And I'm not very upset about that. I definitely thought it would win costume design. Thought the favorite would get production design, and I thought that If Beale Street Could Talk was going to get best score, because I thought it definitely had the best score out of all those. But Black Panther took it. I suspected that it might. But I wonder, I hope it's not as cynical as the way that it seems, rewarding these movies because they made a lot of money. Even though I think the Black Panther wins are pretty much justified. I'm not sure if these Bohemian Rhapsody wins are, even though the Rami Malek win you can make a good case for. And maybe sound mixing to an extent, even though I think A Star Is Born had superior sound mixing. But sound editing, I'm looking at these other ones, and I don't see how Bohemian Rhapsody stands out in terms of its sound editing compared to First Man or A Quiet Place. And editing, that's a whole nother ballpark. I don't think the editing in Bohemian Rhapsody is very good at all. But unless voters were just looking at the Live Aid section, which I think the editing is at its top form during that part, because it's a concert movie at the end of the movie, and the editing is pretty good at the end of that movie. But if you're looking at the editing as a whole, it's kind of a mess. So those 4 wins are kind of baffling to an extent. I thought it would maybe only get 2 of those wins. So the Oscars seems a little cynical this year because viewership has been down. And it seems to me they wanted to reward stuff because they made a lot of money. Both those movies, Bohemian Rhapsody on the verge of making $1 billion, Black Panther well over $1 billion. But aside from the Oscars feeling extraordinarily mainstream this year, there was a couple surprises here that really won me back, because I was feeling pretty down through this show. I'm not going to lie. Stuff's winning that I wasn't expecting to win, and my ballot just looked like trash. Luckily, I didn't bet any money on this ballot, because I don't even know how many I got right and how many I got wrong. But the 2 wins that really made me jump out of my seat, I was so excited for, was when First Man took visual effects. I was for sure Avengers Infinity War was going to take that. I was very excited for First Man. I just thought they were gonna shut out First Man all night after those sound nominations, because I think it probably deserved both, but it didn't get them. So visual effects was a nice little win, and I think it's a deserving win because I think some of the best visual effects are effects that you don't know are visual effects, and I couldn't tell one visual effect in that movie. It was reminiscent of something like Ex Machina, where maybe like less is more, where Avengers was just it's quantity, like so much. Which I would have been upset if Avengers won that, but I was expecting it, and it was nice to see First Man win. Another big surprise that made me leap out of my seat, and it was the biggest surprise all night, was Olivia Colman winning Best Actress for The Favorite. Glenn Close, it's been the narrative, and I think Glenn Close is very good in that movie. And I was for sure she was going to win, just like everybody else thought. So when they called out Olivia Colman, I jumped out of my seat. I was very happy. And at that point in the show, I was feeling pretty down because I think not too far before that, Green Book had won Best Original Screenplay. And I thought it had the weakest screenplay out of all those. I don't understand what's special about that screenplay at all. But Olivia Colman won me back. I thought The Favorite was also going to get shut out with so many nominations. I just thought, well, I guess they're just not going to reward it with anything. So it was a nice little win to see Olivia Colman take that. But the other movie that tied with the second most wins with Black Panther and Roma was Green Book. And I totally understand the Mahershala Ali win. I don't think he was the best out of the supporting actors, but I get it. I'll accept that. Screenplay is just not as good as the other screenplays. It's not even as good as the Vice screenplay, I don't think. There was nothing special about that screenplay. And in terms of its Best Picture win, which, yet again, I can always look at it like, well, at least Bohemian Rhapsody didn't win. Green Book was probably the second one I didn't want to win. It got to the point where I would have accepted a Black Panther win over Green Book. I just think Black Panther probably has stronger things to say about race, which is saying a lot, coming from a comic book movie to a movie that's trying to be accurate with the times when the movie takes place. The movie just thinks that it's more important than it actually is, and it's not. It's not saying anything interesting about race relations. As a buddy road trip movie, it's fine and it's fun. But as a movie that thinks that it's saying something interesting about this subject, it's really not. And I think that's where a lot of the voters got this wrong. We got probably a lot of older voters in Academy that remind them of the old days, and they think that it's like, this is the movie that's going to bring America together, to show a white guy and a black guy get together and become friends, even though one of them had slight racist tendencies. Then they come together and they're best friends, even though the true story has come out and they weren't really friends to begin with, which I think does tarnish the movie for me personally. But sometimes people don't look at the true story, and they just look at it as a movie. And as a movie, it doesn't have anything interesting to say at all. So it's a pretty bittersweet night. Of course, you got Spider-Verse winning Best Animated Feature. And if it didn't win, I just probably would have turned off the Oscars, because by that point, so many things had won that I didn't want to win or didn't expect to win that I was just really agitated. Then Spider-Verse won, much deserved. I loved that. What's some other ones here? Of course, you got Rami Malek winning Best Actor. Best Supporting Actress, fully expected Regina King to win, and she did. I think she deserved that. If she didn't win, I would have expected maybe Rachel Weisz to get in there, but Regina King deserved that win. It was nice to see her get up there, give a speech. And as far as the Oscar show as a whole, like usual, it starts off really good and entertaining because you had Amy Poehler, Tina Fey, and Maya Rudolph come out there, which they honestly could have been the hosts. They were amazing. But the show does get stale. It gets kind of boring as it goes along. It's over long, even though I don't think it was quite as long as it usually is. I feel like last year's ceremony was a little bit longer. So if you're looking at the first hour of the show, I thought it moved pretty smoothly. It was an entertaining show. It got by without having a host for the most part. The musical numbers were all good. That Ballad of Buster Scruggs number got to me. I was not expecting that at all. That was very good. And I don't think I've heard that song since I watched the movie, so it was nice to hear that song again. That's a great song, but of course Shallow stole the show, and it won Best Song. That was an amazing performance from a guy who doesn't sing, really, and he taught himself how to sing and play guitar. He went out there and sang with Lady Gaga, and not saying he was just as good as Lady Gaga, but he held his own. They were both good, especially with the harmonies that they had to do. And that also goes to show that I thought Bradley Cooper gave the realest performance out of all the Best Actor nominees. And I never understood the narratives going around all these other nominees for Best Actor that were all kind of impersonations of the person they were supposed to be. And Bradley Cooper felt a little bit more real, even though you could say he was sort of like Jeff Bridges in Crazy Heart. But I just thought he was the realest, and the fact that he had to change the tone of his voice throughout the whole movie, and it's pretty amazing. It's one of those performances that I respect more as time goes on. But I got nothing else to say about the Oscars. It was kind of cool at times, really lame and disappointing at other times, kind of boring at times, kind of inspirational at times. It was the Oscars. Of course, tops it off, Green Book winning Best Picture at the end of the night. I just don't know. A lot of people are going to be disappointed and angry about that. I'm not pleased with it. But yet again, Bohemian Rhapsody didn't win. So that's just my 2 cents. I was kind of expecting Roma to win, but in the back of my head, I thought, Green Book, that's got a lot of steam, and people are viewing it as an important movie about race, and it's really not. Black Klansman's a way more important movie about race than that is. So, what did you think about the Oscars? Did you like it? Was you bored by it? Did you turn it off after 30 minutes because it just wasn't your thing? Leave your comments below, hit that subscribe button, and thank you for watching.